All right, so what's up, guys? Your boy K Clutch, and today we're gonna be talking about the absolute worst chapter of all time in manga history. I'm with
Big
my boy.
facts.
I'm with my boy right here, Bodega Fresh. Say what's up to him.
Hey, what's good, y'all?
So, this is some bullshit, but we're gonna try to be as unbiased and impartial as possible. But we're still gonna be talking shit.
Yeah, air quotes. We're going to try.
Yeah, I mean, like we're pretty big Gojo fans. We glaze Gojo pretty hard, but I mean, we can be somewhat impartial if need be, right?
Yeah, like we understood that there was a possibility like this outcome would come, but we weren't expecting it the way that it did. And so it's just kind of some bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, like we all understood that Gojo might die, but we all wanted it to be like he either loses like fairly or like some
Mhm.
outside interference, not just some asshole off-screen shit that happened in this manga chapter.
Yeah, for like if you give me an off screen, that just tells me I didn't really know what to do or it wasn't important enough to show.
Yeah, and he even said in the editor's comment, like, or like he said, like, seems like I missed the chapter, and it's like, what the hell? Like, why even say that?
Why even say that if you're not going to be like, you know what, guys, I messed up. Let me show you how I got to this conclusion rather than just skipping everything.
Literally. And that's what I think. That's what a lot of Sukuna fans don't understand. What us Gojo fans are upset about. Whatever happens, I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, it's a manga. Who cares? But it's one of our favorite characters, and we want to see him done right. We don't want to see him just get shafted. Like he doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like,
And this is like we don't hate Sukuna. Like
no,
I like Sukuna.
I like
Like
Sukuna as
prior
well.
to
Yeah.
this event, I like Sukuna, but like to have him win like that, it was just like imagine Naruto and Sasuke fought like two of the strongest people around, and then the fight ends off screen, and you're like, wait, how does Naruto lose an arm? You know, how does Sasuke lose?
Yeah, it's like the best way to compare it is like if Kakashi fought Madara and then like they were kind of going in and we just off screen the end of the fight and then Kakashi dies. Like it's just it wouldn't make any sense.
I just love how you picked the character that looked directly resemblance to Gojo.
Well, that's why I did it because it's the most direct comparison. But yeah, so we're gonna do this kind of in an organized fashion. We're gonna talk about the chapter. We're gonna review it as a whole. Then we're gonna analyze and criticize it. Then we're gonna do some copium and theories. So stick around for the video if you want to hear us purely coping about what might happen, what we want to happen. So let's first talk about the hallucination or the imagination aspect as a whole. Not necessarily what was actually said, but like what did you think of him like talking to his friends in his last moments?
So like taking out of like I guess taking context out of it and like what was said, like I was down for it. I was like, okay, like if he's dead and like this is such a major like showing you at the end of the chapter foreshadow, like yeah, he's done. Right. I like that he got to talk with Ghetto since like Ghetto's actually dead, you know, and Nanami and stuff like that. I thought it was awesome. But then you get to the dialogue and the dialogue is just weird, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I love the concept of it, but the actual dialogue and what was said is just very out of character from Gojo, especially, and it does some things to kind of imply, some ambiguity of his fate and stuff like that. But it's just very poorly placed, in my opinion.
You know, like, yeah, I agree. I feel like if the whole chapter was reversed, like when we opened up to my man being
Yeah,
chopped in half,
yeah,
and then ending it with like the hallucinations or flashback or whatever, like you know, just in that like in between space of heaven and purgatory or whatever, I think it would have flowed better. But the fact that we see that first and we're like, okay, well, there we go, and the clunky dialogue to the lackluster finish is just it was just a recipe for like what the like you know it was for shock value or just a dumpster fire.
yeah. I mean, it clearly was just shock factor, which is not something you do with a Gojo character like Gojo. Like if you do this with like I don't like Yuta, right? Like I mean, God forbid, but like I understand it a little bit more. But Gojo is like damn near your actual like main character and like the one of the probably the most important character in the actual story. And to just give him a shock value ending instead of a fitting ending is just like very disrespectful. But he also dislikes him, so I mean I can't be too
True that.
surprised.
Like we got our shock value and like quote unquote death with Yuji very early into the series, you know, and then like but like to do that again with a character like that's more of a main character than Yuji, especially like the last couple of arcs, like Yuji is a very non in the picture character. You know,
Yeah, he had one good
it
thing.
just felt weird. Yeah, like he has like what's gonna happen in Shibuya and stuff like that. But then after a while, it's like Maki's like a main character for a brief moment. Yuta's a main character again for a brief moment. Gojo,
Sukuna, like,
Akuna,
yeah, like,
like it just I don't know. It was just very weird. But like man hates Gojo so much. Like waited 2 years to figure out a way to kill him and did that poorly.
yeah, like that's the biggest thing. It's like through 2-3 years being sealed, and you bring him back for like 5 months just for him to ultimately not end up doing a whole lot is just awful. So obviously, I think Kashimo coming in at the end is extremely expected. But if this lasts more than 2-3 chapters, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah, well, the thing is too, like what bothers me is ain't no way Sukuna should be able to stand like to fight another person. Not only is he missing a limb, like you've been getting dog walked the whole fight to get this random ass pull. Now you have like Kashimo who fought the goat, the dancing goat. And like ain't no way, like part of me wants to say like, yeah, Kashimo should be strong enough to, fight a weakened Sukuna who fought Gojo, but like at this point, like I just don't want Sukuna to take any more dubs.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like at this point, because like the thing that pisses me off too is like the fact that Sukuna has only taken dubs. Like unless the very beginning of like the series where he had one finger in Yuji's body and like Gojo whooped him for like the minute. Like everything else, Sukuna has only taken massive dubs, and it's actually kind of pissing me off because he hasn't been humble. And I figured Gojo would be the character who would humble him.
Exactly. And now my hope is that my boy Yuta and Yuji just fucking Mortal Kombat cameo fighter tag team whoop this man.
I mean,
and Rika and Yuji will catch these hands Itadori at him.
I mean, it's fair, but I feel like Yuta might be a better matchup for Kenjaku. Not like a better, but like a more fitting narrative matchup for Kenjaku. But yeah, I give Kashima max about 5 panels.
And do you think he's gonna get killed? Because I don't think they.
I think he has to. Like, he has no necessary need in the actual story in the world.
Yeah, he really doesn't. He's just cool.
Literally, I mean, like I feel like he should, when he pulls up like next chapter, immediately uses curse technique in his domain, like immediately, and then like Sukuna, like the thing about Sukuna has his ass pull thing where he can just cut the space and time or like this distance between in the world, so it's like. Can't he just immediately do that against Kashimo?
I feel like we're at Madara where we're like, okay, how do we stop him?
I get hype and I get understand like strength, but he even said like on like as like the different like author comments, like he always wanted just like a pretty linear power ceiling where Gojo Sukuna at the top. But like if he's saying if like we'll get into the dialogue like where that completely just destroys Gojo's character from the hallucination. It's just if Gojo is dog walking Sukuna all fight, and then Gojo is saying, man, he's strong. I don't even think I could have beat him without Megumi's technique. He was holding back the whole fight, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that is so out of left field, which is just not how Gojo would say it. And it pretty much destroys Gojo's character because he's supposed to be the strongest. And they are always both being relative. So if Sukuna's holding back and saying that like he would have won even without Maharaga, like it implies, which is pure cap, obviously, but like it implies that Sukuna is solidly stronger, which is just doesn't make sense, shouldn't be the thing, and is bullshit. Like,
let me tackle how this is such cap. One, Gojo states as early as what, episode 2?
Yeah.
Full power, blow for blow. Oh, I win. And we were seeing that the whole fight. Man had to jump him and was still losing. The fact that like in the fight, if you could beat him, Sukuna, by yourself without Megumi's technique and Maharaga, why weren't you doing it? Why were you struggling? Like you had moments, but like why were you struggling? So it's just it doesn't make any sense for someone the quote unquote strongest, like, and he is. We've seen it by all counts. Like my man does not get touched. Like just being in his presence, look what happened to Hanami. Just in his presence, just got Mortal Kombat fatality. Mm-hmm. So it just doesn't make any sense. And for how Gige to write that about Gojo, like it just threw me off. And then to say like I wanted to connect with him through fighting, it was like, is this Naruto?
I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking like trying to defend this and saying like, oh, people didn't understand Gojo's character. I'm gonna keep it a buck with everyone. Gojo has never once exhibited the fact that he's like this battle hungry like fiend that wants to push himself to his limits. Not once has that ever been implied, nor has it ever been stated. Because why? Gojo has lost to Toji. He has been sealed, so he's already taken L's. So there's no reason for him to literally be like, "Oh, I just wanted to connect with Sukuna because I'm the strongest and there's this disconnect." Like that's not Gojo's character. That's Sukuna's character. And the whole aspect with the Yorozu stuff and like the being like I'm the one who's gonna teach you about love and like understanding. I was like, that should have been Gojo. But then I guess it's not because he was holding back.
It like I've always pictured, like Gojo is very reminiscent of Kakashi, especially earlier Gojo.
Yeah.
And earlier Kakashi, where they were just like, what, like, all about me, 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 me. But never once, even in his fight with Toji, like, yeah, we saw excitement for like battle hungry, but that was more like I'm getting my lift back.
Yeah, that was after. Yeah, that was after.
Yeah,
because he was high. Like,
so yeah, he just had, which throughout, that was an amazing moment. But like, it just doesn't make sense. And then for him to go to be like, damn, yeah, like he's stronger than me. Woo! I'm happy I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like it's just like what? And then you have Sukuna, which I respect, but even for me, that feels like a little off to hear Sukuna say, I'll never forget you. I really felt like I was listening to like Naruto and
I mean, I'm glad he said it, and it makes sense that he said it, but like not in this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like like damn, like if I would have been fine if Sukuna was like, you really have been the strongest person I've ever fought.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, you had to use an asshole to beat him, and you sure, okay, we get it. But like for both of them to start glazing each other was just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Very, very weird. And then like you have all these people here. Yeah, Kashimo runs off into the distance to fight Sukuna, but then you got Yuta, you got Shoko, you got Yuji. Like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna grab Gojo and try to pull a Sakura and get this man back? And what's gonna happen? Is someone gonna fight somebody before Kashimo? At this point, fuck Gojo, jump him.
That's the one thing, and it also doesn't make sense too. Like if you think about it, like not in terms of a narrative aspect, but like in terms of like if like this was real life, right? Why the fuck would we not just send Kashimo in first and then have Gojo come back and like when he fucking loses? like wouldn't it make more sense to have Kashimo tire Sukuna out a little bit, at the very least a little bit, right? And then have Gojo come in? Like maybe I guess you could say Maharaga would be a problem, but it's like I would rather if this was like if I was like Mei or like Shoko at this point, I'd be like, why aren't we just sitting Kashimo in? Because we don't give a fuck about him. He's like some old sorcerer. So if he dies, we don't care. But if Gojo dies, we fucking care.
No, like that's true, but I guess in their mind they were like, "Oh, Gojo's not gonna lose this."
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm pretty sure. But also, you have people like Yuta. Like Yuta can at least tire him out to some extent, and then you send in Gojo to finish it off or something. Like my man is like number 2, number 3 of sorcerers in the list here. Like you got to do something with him.
Yeah, I mean, like it's been one chapter, so we could Gege could be cooking up something diabolical. It could be something crazy that like we're all missing, and like it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna set everything up. But the way he's handled previous characters, I do not think he will, unless this is all big brain and brilliancy. Because how he's handled Nobara initially, like first, like what the fuck,
Super vague.
Like Yuki, like killing her off without her using her domain, without pretty much giving her anything to her character, and then just having a Kenjaku Aspel. We haven't seen Yuta's domain.
Yeah, he loves to give people blue balls. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
You show us a triple domain expansion to do nothing.
To show none of them. Yeah, like
what the fuck?
He wrote Yuji out of relevancy for like years. We already talked about Nobara and like Mei. I mean, if you talk about massacre of a character, if you want to talk about massacre of a character, like that was.
She went from Shawty to nah.
Yeah. Literally, bro. Like I mean, like that's why I just don't have any. I don't have any like faith in Gege like actually like do some big brain shit right now. But again, it also is Gojo, so maybe this is like the exception, but I don't know.
This is the thing. I feel like Gege is like trapped against the corner because like he obviously wants to kill this man and have him stay dead. Like it would make it more, compelling for like Yuji to step up and do something. Sure, but you've massacred Yuji into like a backstage character that like it's hard for me to even picture him popping off because all his moments where he's popped off has been with Sukuna inside him.
Yeah.
And so then like you have this, but then you've written times where Gojo should have been dead, but he's like, "Oh, you didn't cut off my head. Oh, sucks for you. I'm back." So now you put that into like the world. So now people are seeing him cut in half. They're like, "Well, his head's still attached, and he has a slight smile on his face. Is he dead? Because he can technically heal himself back." You kind of effed up there.
And he just restored his curse, his reverse curse technique output. Like, it's like this doesn't make any sense if this is how you're gonna end Gojo. So if he actually does get ended, it's stupid. If it doesn't, it makes sense, but it could have been done a different way. Because I understand he hates Gojo in terms of like because it's hard to write him, but there was a lot of easy ways for him to write it. So if he didn't have a plan for Gojo, in my opinion, that's just like that's not acceptable because all he needed to do was have Sukuna actually relative to him in terms of the fight. Like, yes, Sukuna was Ryan Maharaga, but then actually use Yorozu's gift, his actual curse technique. Like, maybe do something else and actually make them very even and then just have him pull away and make him slightly stronger. Like, Gojo's 99.9 and Sukuna's 100. But that's not what we saw. We saw Gojo was 100 and Sukuna was 98. And then it's like, Gojo's like, but actually, Sukuna's 105, and I'm 100. So like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's just very, like, it felt very rushed because, like, the last chapter, like, again, we're seeing Gojo just, not the one where, obviously, RIP, the one before this, where, like, Gojo's doing his thing against Sukuna. And so it's just, like, to get to this abrupt conclusion, it just felt like, again, as Gojo fans, we understand that this author hates this character, and he wanted him dead, and we were okay. We didn't want it, but we understood that like there's a chance he's gonna die.
Yeah.
But if the fight is even going back and forth, blow for blow, and Sukuna doesn't have to glaze Megumi and Maharaga like every 2 seconds, then I'd be like, okay, Sukuna's that guy. He's the curses for a reason. But this is just like, how'd you end up King of Curses? Because honestly, that was
pitiful.
That was just like, honestly, it felt like a WWE ending to like a dream match where like some ass pull guy intervenes to fuck it up. Like it just.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh come on, bro. Like that. Like it was so disheartening. Like I wanted Kenjaku to be the one to pack up Gojo to see Ghetto's body.
Yeah, because it makes sense narratively. Yeah. I mean, like, and even then, like, regardless of like all that, right? Like the thing that pisses me off the absolute most is even if like, okay, Gojo's whole character point is the fact that he's the strongest. So having him say this stuff, being out of character, kind of writing his character out, having Sukuna hold back doesn't make any sense. Whatever, all of that could be whatever. So Gojo, and even it's like, oh, he's not this battle hungry person wanting to like find like this connection with like being at the top, whatever. Sukuna is a fucking villain. He's an evil motherfucker. He's not some antagonist with different ideals. He's a fucking evil person. So to have Gojo say, I really wanted to connect with them and show him what love is fucking stupid because Sukuna, let's see what Sukuna has done. He's killed so many innocent people in Shibuya.
Yep.
Gojo can't be mad at him for being in Yuji's body, of course. But he literally took over his son's body and killed his son's sister. And made his son have brain damage from Gojo's technique. And then, to top that all off, he allied with the person that took over Gojo's best friend's body.
Yeah.
So why would Gojo ever care about connecting with Sukuna? Gojo should hate him. Gojo should actually hate him. But he apparently doesn't.
Trying to connect with Megumi,
Yeah. His first priority should have been trying to save Megumi's body. And if Gojo lost because he was trying to save, like he was holding back to save Megumi, that would have made much more sense to have him die in that sense. But not this way. Because now we're still in the same problem before Gojo came through. but without Gojo. So
If if any character is gonna get a Gojo talk no jutsu, it should be unfortunately Kenjaku because it's Ghetto's body
yeah,
and the connection. Not fucking Sukuna. Not the guy that you literally shit talk each other. No.
yeah.
I'm sorry. It don't work. So it just doesn't make sense. Like I now look at my Gojo and Sukuna Pop that are right next to each other. I'm just like disappointed in you guys now.
Bro, you're telling me every time I see like some TikTok of Jujutsu Kaisen, I see like a picture, a wallpaper of Gojo. I'm just like, like I'm just like mad. Like when when these leaks came out, I was boiling to my core of how bad they were. It was actually hilarious.
We don't even look at the leaks too. For some reason, we were just like,
I couldn't.
check it out.
I couldn't
It
wait,
was
man.
just horrible. It was the worst. It ruined my day. My girlfriend has to tell me religiously now he's not dead. Till I see him walk up from the grave like the fucking Undertaker, he's dead.
Yeah.
Because Alpha hates him.
Literally. And I mean, like, a big thing too, it's like, I was slightly mentally prepared for Gojo to die at the end of this chapter, or at the end of this fight, right?
Mhm.
Seeing him dead, though, does kind of hit you in that, damn, like, he's dead, like, he's dead. And I think even if he died in a perfect way, that would have been, like, we would all been a little bit upset, but we would have been, like, we would have been sad upset, not mad upset, if that makes sense.
It would have been, yeah, it would have been like, oh, we're grieving Gojo.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Now we're trying to avenge him, like.
Not the fact that there's like a petition to bring Gojo back.
Literally.
Thousands of people are signing.
I don't condone like any death threats to like Akutami and stuff. Like obviously we're not. That's not what we're doing, right? But it's like we gotta break some kneecaps or something.
Yo, like it's just like Gige is on the level of like Gabby from AOT.
He's not even a character.
Oh my god, he's just like that guy now. Like you just hate because like he just ruined your whole childhood or something. Kicked your dog.
He,
like, what the hell?
He killed off my beloved king. Like, no, you can't do this.
Yo, I'm just like, I swear, if he start, he's already killed like fan favorite characters. He's killed, possibly Nanami, Toji, and then like Gojo. I swear, if he comes after Yuta, I'm going to run.
I was gonna say for you, if he comes out with Yuta, you might fly to Japan and find him yourself. Like,
I'm looking at my Yuta pin right now. Like, yo, you all I got left.
I know. If he comes after Monkey, I might jump off a bridge. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's already come after both my favorite characters. So if he comes after my third favorite character, I'm flying to Japan, bringing him with me, and then jumping off the bridge with him. Like,
if Maki goes, bro, and Mei stays, we got an issue.
Dude,
I may just be like, yo, Aaron Yeager rumbling.
Oh my god. So I mean, at this point, okay. So we talked about the chapter, we analyzed it. There's a lot of people have said a lot of things, so we don't necessarily need to go into like extreme detail about everything and analyze everything. If people watch the video and they want that, we can. But the main thing right now, that at the end of this video, what we're gonna do, we're gonna offer some copium, right? Everyone can join us right now in some massive copium. Just like smoking that copium pack right now. We're going to be talking about what we think can actually happen in terms of like Gojo coming back. So if you have a theory, go ahead.
All right, so I have two, and one is just a little more pathetic than the other. Obviously, my theory is that when you have a goated king like that, he can't die like that, especially off screen. He didn't cut his head off. He said he's gonna go north and not south.
Yeah.
And last time we saw Gojo die, he rebirthed into the chosen one, the honored one.
Yeah.
So I think you left his brain, and his head attached. He heals. It may take a while. He heals.
Yeah.
I don't really believe that's going to happen. Unfortunately, I want it to. The second one is if Yuta or Shoko is able to bring him back, because look, Yuji was able to come back with a missing heart. I don't see why Gojo can't.
Yeah.
So maybe like Shoko or Yuta are able to bring him back, and maybe he's not as powerful as before because he did die and maybe lost some of his abilities and he's not the same. But I just think like his story is not done yet. He needs to, you know, save Megumi. He has to have his final moment with Ghetto, and I just don't think he's dead. It can't be. That would be horrible. Horrible.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, from a narrative overall thematic aspect, like he should not die or be dead because, yeah, like you said, there's the whole thing where he got sliced in half. They didn't get his head, right? We know that curse energy stems from the stomach, so yeah, he's not gonna be using his domain or anything as like a last ditch effort to like win or something, or use like a hollow purple, whatever, like on like on his death's door. But he can heal, like that is definitely possible. Now, if you want to say, oh, the fact that he's taken so much damage, he's lost the output again, blah blah, is like very bad writing in my opinion. Plus, there's Shoko and Yuta, like you said, that can actually heal him, right? So at the very least, maybe he could stay alive. Maybe like he won't be able to actually come back and fight again, but he'll actually stay alive, which is I don't that is not how I want it to happen. I want him to actually do something else, but it makes sense. The biggest and like there's like you said like the north and south and like in like the flashback there was the flower which symbolizes rebirth. So there's a lot of aspects pointing towards it, but I feel like there's too many things pointing towards it. And with what gay, so it's either if if Gege is stern and stubborn about it, he could just say nah fuck that. But if he's actually like gonna be like write it well, he can easily use any of these aspects to bring Gojo back, which is what I'm thinking. Like maybe Gege has a change of heart and he goes, I'm gonna go with what's best for a writing standpoint, not what I want, right? So yeah, I mean like it's just like it almost seems like there's too many things that he can do, and he might not choose them, but he damn well should to save a series.
Yeah, because like we were talking about, like after Shibuya and after the Maki stuff, and for a bit in getting into the culling games, this was JJK was dry. It was a tough
Yeah,
read. And then when Yuta came back for a little bit, I was happy, but like I wanted, more Gojo and Sukuna. Um, if he's able to come back, like, and since he may not have his connection to his curse energy, that's fine. And I'd be interested to see how he does life, not being the quote unquote strongest anymore. I think that'd be a different outlook on him.
yeah,
Um, but also like I know people are saying like, oh, the flower means rebirth. That means we're gonna get a new person with the six eyes and all that stuff.
yeah,
Um, and so I'm just like, if so, if that's the case, you better show us a person. And they may not have any, connection to the story, but you better show us, like, just because I don't know, it just feels horribly to like kill your most popular character, not even in a good way. Um, and then expect the story to do well because now you made like the second favorite character, most popular character, kind of seem like a fraud.
I mean, like, we've like you said, we've talked about it, and like this is obviously just our opinion. People are going to disagree because they might like the characters, but like we said that without Sukuna and Gojo in the story, the overall quality of the story had like dipped and dropped massively, and there was so much that like we just were like, this is not good. And reading it week to week, it's like, yeah, maybe even if it's like 10 chapters, that's 10 months at least, right? So if the Jujutsu Kaisen is not doing well, it's not being interesting for a whole year, that is a problem, right? It may not be that much in terms of the amount of the actual chapters in the story, but the time that it isn't as interesting is problematic. If you can't actually give us a like 8 good chapters in 10 chapters, right? Like or at least 5. So that's like a big thing.
No, like for real, yeah. Like when we get the reveal of Kenjaku, we're like, oh, okay. And then like Shibuya stuff happens, you're on a high, and then the Maki stuff happens, and you're like, oh my god, Itachi 2.0,
Yeah.
right? And then you just get to this culling games, and you're like, oh, a new arc is about to pop off. We're doing like like some battle royale stuff. It's crazy. But it dragged, and then you introduce all these random characters that nobody cares about, and then like you have to save it by bringing the main character back to the plot.
Yeah.
Yuta not even done amazingly. Then Yuta shows up, and stuff like that. It wasn't better till Gojo was like, oh, Gojo's coming back,
Yeah.
and Sukuna's in Megumi's body now. Like that I don't know, just just might have ruined the series, or not ruin it. Definitely hurt the series a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I did the math like at the end of Shibuya to like the Gojo versus Sukuna fight was, I think at max, I think it was like 100 chapter thing, maybe like was like 80 chapters, 85 chapters, whatever it was. And I like, if we think about like actually what happened, like the Maki stuff was solid, some stuff with Yuta, right? Like some like the Megumi and like Sukuna switching body stuff. Like there was good parts and good moments. Let's say even like being generous, that amounts to 20 chapters. So you're telling me
Oh yeah,
20 chapters out of 80, 85 chapters were were good, and then 65 chapters were mediocre and just uninteresting. That is not okay. Like that's not okay in my opinion.
definitely not to follow up like Shibuya and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
you didn't, it didn't need to be as good as Shibuya, or even the Gojo past arc, but like something relative.
Yeah.
And made like a big part of the Culling games have not been it. And it's like an arc that like I am drastically ready for it to be over.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously, like the 20 chapters includes like the Hakari versus Kashimo stuff, and like just all that's like that's all that's we're including all that. So if anybody says like, oh, you forgot about this, like no, this is like that's including pretty much everything. That's what I'm being generous with 20. Like it might actually be like 10 to 15 max, but I'm being generous with 20 because people might like a couple things. But yeah, so that's why like now that Gojo is gone or is not going to be in it, how are you going to write it? So are you going to have your big climactic moment and you're going to be like, okay, now that the character that carries my show is gone, I have to go big, or are you gonna? Is the quality gonna diminish it? Yeah, I mean, if he does, good for him. But it's just something that I don't feel like he's going to be able to unless this is big brain. And if it is, fair play. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I'll take the L, but I just haven't seen it yet to be hopeful.
Yeah, and like again, we both could be wrong. Where like Gojo comes back next chapter, or the chapter after that, or like in a few chapters.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, but
hopefully,
yeah,
but like it just, I don't know. I just, again, we're okay if Gojo needs to die, make it something worth his character. This man's carrying your show. You don't just like imagine like I know they're not technically the main character, but like imagine we wait all these years and get Naruto to become Hokage and he just dies off screen. You know how like
yeah, that's a big one, yeah. Which he almost kind of almost did, but like obviously, like they got brought back, so it's like it's not that level yet. So I mean, maybe.
But like if you do that with Goat, like if you have this amazing character that like you've written very well and like very compelling because it's similar to Kakashi. Kakashi is a phenomenal character. Just to off screen him and be like, okay, I'm gone with him now. I'm done. Thank God. Next it's like, what the hell, bro? Like, I don't know. That just really made me be like, damn, do I even want to continue reading JJK if this is how you treat your character?
Yeah, because he hates. It's like he hates Gojo, but he hates everybody. Like he's and it's like anybody can get it. Like he ain't discriminating on no one.
I know, like even Isayama though, like at least Isayama like the moment the characters who die,
Yeah,
the moment
yeah,
they don't die off screen, bro. Like
yeah. I mean, it's like
you see them.
everything Levi did, and Levi didn't die, right? So it's like you could have easily killed Levi off, but you don't, because why? Levi is the best character in that series. So.
Oh yeah, like yeah, Aaron's amazing character. We're not but like Levi, like it's if you have a dope like mentor figure who's either badass or hilarious or both, like do them justice. That's
Yeah.
really just it.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it's like Levi honestly probably is pretty comparative to Gojo in terms of his likability and like his aspect in Attack on Titan versus Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, if Isai like killed Levi off, the outrage that would have happened, especially if it wasn't a fitting end for him. I have hope, but it's copium, and I'm very like knowing that I will probably be wrong and disappointed.
Each week we're gonna like torture ourselves to see if he's gonna talk about it, and he's gonna talk about it. Is he gonna show something? And I feel like he's just gonna go off to the left.
Oh, he's gonna drag this out.
Random shit. Yeah, definitely. But hey, it's the quote unquote getting close to the ending of the series, so hopefully it's not too far off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much longer we have, but I mean, hopefully we just start seeing some stuff. But yeah. Well, anyway, that's gonna wrap up the video. If you guys liked it, let me know. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like. Leave a comment if you have some stuff. Check out my boy Devin, Bodega Fresh on YouTube. He does some stuff. We're probably gonna get back into some more anime stuff. We have more time and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Podcast may be coming soon.
I would love it. Absolutely. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the chapter. You know, if you want to disagree, go ahead, but keep it civilized. You know, we don't need to be disrespectful. It's opinions. It's if you love Sukuna, this is your chapter. Obviously, if you love Gojo, this is not your chapter.